Hey, it's Webs here, and it's time for a new Hearthstone deck. This time, revisiting a old classic, Reno Jackson, but in Shaman. I've been wanting to do another Reno deck for quite a while now, and it's been about a month since the last one. I figured it would be the perfect opportunity to do so after trying a bunch of Demon Hunter, and Druid decks this weekend that did not turn out so well. I figured Shaman would be a nice class to visit Reno in. So the basic idea of the deck is to use Reno Jackson as a way to help yourself survive so you can actually play down some really big late game threats such as Barren Glacier, Snowfall Guardian, or Glug, or even a Brucon, while also generating additional threats through a Jarran Scroll, Venomous Scorpid, or even the School Teachers. For the Mulligan guide of the deck, you're basically looking for any of the 1-cost cards, any of the 2-cost cards that was not Bolner, or Farsight, Lightning Storm, Snowball Fight, Tidal Surge, Venomous Scorpid, or Wild Paw Cavern. All of these cards are really good to keep in your opening hand and will allow you to get ahead of the game against aggro-based decks, while also allowing you to generate additional card advantage off of your Coral Keeper, the multicasters, and other things that actually scale off of individual schools of magic. With that all being said, let's look at some games. Okay, time for a game against Warlock. Jarran Scroll and Farsight are good to keep here. Queen Azshara is not, though. Slogger is better than Queen Azshara, but not something I wanted to see yet either. Probably going to grab the... If we grab Frostbite, that probably is better to as a removal tool, but Geyser is probably better early game. Yep, this would be the exact reason why we should have probably grabbed the Frostbite. We're just going to use our hero power and then pass turn back. We should be able to survive long enough to kill that minion pretty easily. It's just going to be a little bit more annoying. They're going to use Sir Finley, which is kind of a shock. Oh, and I guess it is Murloc Warlock, which is kind of cool to see. They're just going to go face. We can actually kill their minion now unless they attack into... Yep, they are going to. Okay, so we still have no way to kill that minion unless we get a Tidal Surge here. Ha! You don't know how many times while I was actually playtesting that deck that this exact situation actually happened. For some weird reason, the combination of Farsight and Tidal Surge always came up. I don't know what was my luck with those two cards in combination, but something was... Okay, Wild Paw Cavern is just going to be what we put down instantly. We could have also put down the Slogger, but I'd rather not yet. Rather use that for some type of healing. Okay, so they're going to put down a Tide Caller. Do have the Geyser for next turn for the Tide Caller, depending on what else they have in their hand. Okay, a War Leader isn't exactly problematic here. Oh, Lightning Storm's just a perfect top deck. Might as well use it and then use the Geyser to get something from the bottom of the deck. Going for the scroll. We could have actually went for the second Geyser just because we could have got the scroll next. Okay, we're just going to heal up a little bit, freeze their face. Now we have 2 freezing minions. Oh, let's see what we generate here. The Snowfall Guardian is great whenever they do overextend. We can put down Blade Master, calling a minion probably here. Actually, calling a spell could counter a key spell. They don't have too many, but minions probably best to actually trigger it. It's a really hard call here just because in theory the other could have been a lot better. Especially because all we got was a Tiny Fin there. Okay, so they have an entire board. We do have enough mana to actually use the Snowfall Guardian here. Though those 2 minions in the hand, if one of them is what I think it's going to be, might actually be buffed up a bunch and might be a little bit more annoying to deal with. Hopefully we don't have to. Okay, it is actually Chum Bucket. And now they're sadly out of range of our Lightning Storm. You can go face, use Snowball Fight on the highest HP one, see where it all bounces. Okay, not going to freeze the entire board. Technically don't have to do that. Grabbing the second geyser. Should have probably done it by saving the geyser there, but oh well. Do get to kill their entire board. And we do have the snowball fight for next turn. They are actually incredibly low, which is something I didn't realize. We just need to get them to 6 or less HP, and then we just win the game no matter what in 2 turns. Okay, let's use the snowball fight to freeze everything here, hopefully. There we go. Then we can just use that to do 2 damage, and hopefully they tap themselves to death next turn. Okay, so they're going to eat everything here. They did tap, so we just won. What a fiery way to end this game. Okay, time for a game against Hunter. I'm going to probably keep the Peasant in the opening hand. Actually, might keep the entire opening hand. Oh, I guess Snowfall Guardian could be a little bit slow, drawing into Brucon, which is a bit frustrating. Well, we do have a turn 1 play, and this is one of the only classes that can't actually deal with the Peasant early, so good for us, I guess. Okay, we'll draw 2. Probably going to put down that elemental, then just attack their face, might as well. Okay, so they're going to coin something out. Why didn't they start with the... Okay, that makes no sense, but it is what it is. We're just going to coin, use Farsight, get a school teacher. We're going to use tracking. Okay, so we have the Wildpaw Cavern. That would probably be a good play here. They'll be getting a secret every turn. I tried Secret Hunter for a brief amount of time. I guess the best way to actually abuse it would be in Questline, just so you could actually get a bunch of discounts, did spells, and thus be able to use your hero power a bunch. That seemed a little bit boring, which is why I never actually tried them together. Okay, so they'll play in our secret. Let's use school teacher, see what we grab. Let's go for investing opportunity, see what we can get out of the deck. Grabbing Don't Stand in Fire, laying down a Scorpion, grabbing Bioluminescence. Now, Bioluminescence in theory is really good to generate here. The only issue is because we only have 1 ofs, we don't have that many face damaging spells, so... Okay, so they do have a bunch of secrets, which means we're going to have to basically play guess and check to see what they are. We can use the scroll to check for Ice Trap, and it is Ice Trap. Use the scroll again, just because. Grabbing the geyser, hitting their face, grabbing the scroll from the bottom of the deck. Also, you really want to be careful of not accidentally generating 2 Sunken scrolls to turn off the Reno Jackson, and I probably should have attacked with the Noggaling first and not the 3-4, but oh well. Okay, here's their questline reward. We can instantly kill it next turn, so we're not in too bad of a position here. Probably should have actually played some cards in our hand. Didn't realize I had 10 cards in the hand. Or 9 cards in the hand, I guess, when I used it. And we can just go face, use the geyser, grabbing the frostbite, because in theory it could be really good. Okay, so we don't want to get too low, because if we get too low, they can just kill us in a turn. We can put down our elemental again and then use our hero power. I don't think they can do 20 damage to us in one turn. I could be completely wrong, and I hope I am not in this case, because that would be real frustrating to see. Okay, they're going to use Conch Call, draw a Naga and a spell, do a bunch of damage to our face, getting us incredibly low, but luckily for us, we do have that Reno Jackson in our hand. Okay, so if that is explosive trap, we should probably attack into their face first, just so we can maybe trigger it. Well, it didn't work, but we did trigger the freezing trap. Elemental got back to our hand for the second time in this game. Okay, so we can use Brucon, get around any secret that they do have. I'm gonna use the fire to do 6 damage, and then summon, let's heal, just to be safe. Probably should have healed after we triggered their secret, but oh well. That kills 1. We'll just go face, summon 2 taunts. We can hit their face again here. What do we want to do? Snowball Fight allows us to freeze their board if we don't have the secret to make it where you need to cast it a second time. Okay, so that is an emergency maneuver, so it has to be Snake Trap, which is something that I would expect no one to actually choose to generate, but I guess they did. They're just going to keep refreshing their hero power, get a Huffer, get another Naga and another spell, another Huffer. It is always Huffer whenever people randomly generate them off of that hero power, and it isn't me. Well, we can use the Battle Cry Duplicator, and then we can use Snowfall Guardian to freeze everything here. And then use Windshield to just draw an additional card because we have the mana. Lightning Storm is a really good top deck though. But we do have to get through all of their minions. We do have the Bioluminescence to buff up our Lightning Storm a little bit. They are using Piercing Shot. They're getting another bear. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Let's use the Slogger. And then have 6 mana left, so Bioluminescence and Lightning Storm should clear out the board. We also do want to attack into a minion just to... well, we can actually just keep it. We can use the Perpetual Flame instead of the Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm probably would have been better overall, but oh well. Because then we wouldn't be frozen out of an entire turn next turn. Okay, so let's get Bolnor. We do have Frostbite, so we should just be able to win here.
I've heard of it.
And they do nothing to get rid of our board, and they give up. Okay, time for a game against Druid. Okay, so this opening hand doesn't look too terrible. want to get rid of the lightning storm, but that probably is a mistake in the end. And this game was from before I actually cut out the peasant, it seems. I had been using the peasant for a early game minion, but it shouldn't really matter too much because he usually just instantly dies, which is why I cut him out of the deck. Well, we can put down the peasant, I guess, if we really feel like it, or we could just pass the turn. We could also coin out the frostbite if we really felt like it too, to get rid of the minion. Okay, they're going to put down a carpenter, probably drawing into cold mine or gold mine. Well, we can use frostbite to try to prevent them from drawing into Prestor a turn early. Okay, so they have an Iron Deep Trog. We do have ways to get rid of the Trog if we really feel like it. Let's use the Perpetual Flame so we can actually get rid of all their minions, though we won't have anything to do for next turn. We can put down our Peasant just because it should survive since they don't have a hero power to kill it off anymore. Okay, so they are going to draw into their highest cost card, which is probably Prestor. If we actually drew into Blade Master, we'd be in a really funny position, but sadly we don't. We did get the Reno Jackson, which is really good. Okay, there's the Wildheart Guff. They'll draw a card, put down a Bubbler. Good news for us, we don't have a way to instantly deal with it. There's the Blade Master, but I don't remember if I caught the Prestor play. It doesn't look like I did. Well, we can coin out the Feral Spirits, another card that I actually ended up cutting from the deck. Okay, Command of Neptulon is actually not a bad thing here. We're just going to freeze their minion and probably go face and put down the Wildpaw Cavern. We can also kill the Bubbler. They're going to use Aquatic form. Now they'll gain a Mana Crystal, draw the lowest card in their deck, which is probably another Aquatic form. Okay, so they're just going to draw most of their deck. Just hoping they don't generate a Zakis. That would be a little bit annoying. Well, we can use Bran in combination with the Taunt Elemental if we really feel like it. Or we could just put down the Elemental here, attack into that minion, go face to freeze them. Okay, so they're going to fill up their board. If we draw into the Snowfall Guardian, we're in a really good position. Though they did kill off most of their minions here, so maybe not as good. And sadly, they have a Kazakis. Okay, so that's a little bit annoying. Hopefully they just don't generate anything really good here. Okay, just fill up the board a little bit more. I want to freeze the entire thing. Oh, that's not a freeze for the entire board. We do have Brucon, though. We'll do 2 damage to their entire board. And then do 6 damage to their face and just freeze their face. They'll draw a few cards here, which is perfectly fine. Okay, so they're gonna use their hero power, then use a aquatic form, draw some more cards. Curious of what they're actually generating here. Oh, they actually generated both halves of that. That's actually kind of cool. Okay, so they have no cards left in their deck. Are they just going to overkill themselves with that? Okay, we do have the fiery hero power, and then we can just freeze them again. We can use Sleep Breaker to draw a card and freeze their minion, and then we can use Blade Master to prevent them from casting a spell. Since most of Kazakis's treasures are spells, at least the really good ones, they'll take 3 damage. They'll destroy our freezing elemental, or not. They'll use Bubba, which kills our minion. Man, they got really unlucky with that, Kazakis. Okay, what damage do we need? We have 3 damage on board. Coral Keeper doesn't do what we want. Well, we can go face. The last battle cry is... Oh, never mind, they just give up. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the deck. Overall, the deck performed alright. However, I do think Reno Jackson is probably better suited once we get an additional set or 2 into rotation, so you actually have more individual choices for your one-off cards. However, because this is a Shaman deck, there are actually a lot of just good standalone one-copy cards that you can run in it. Thus, you do have an advantage over some of the other Reno decks that currently do exist for the other classes. Which means if you have all the cards in this deck, I can easily recommend this one for you. It might not get you that far, but at the same time, it should be one of your better options if you are a Reno Jackson fan. And with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.